Hello again, everybody. Red of Half Century Collecting Sports Cards. We're showing some more of my favorite 400 cards. These were the cards I featured last time. Good book I recently read. Cool picture I took of my kids. Love taking pictures when they were little. That was many years ago. But we are at 122, so we're getting down there a little bit. I'm showing some of my top cards, and I know the order's not that accurate or important, but this is a rookie card, 1941 of Harold Pee Wee Reese. One of my favorite cards because I think that image is just pretty cool of a young Pee Wee. Got the nickname from playing marbles. Pee Wee's what they call a small marble. He was a marble champ as a kid. Like the back of this 41 play ball set. Now, some people like the 40 play balls better than the 41s, but I like the 41s. I put the color in there, and I know it's not, just the picture like the 40s, but I like the color, so I like the 41s, and Pee Wee doesn't have a 40, so this is his first card regardless. But the back of the card talks a little bit about how he broke his heel that rookie season, sliding to second. Probably was a late slide, and then how he was picked up for $75,000, which was quite a bit of cash at the time. He was picked up. It doesn't talk about that, but he was picked up by the Boston Red Sox. Their manager at the time was also their shortstop, Joe Cronin, and I think he thought Pee Wee maybe was a little threat to his job, so he didn't recommend they bring Pee Wee up, and instead ended up trading him to the Dodgers. Probably didn't work out so well for Cronin because he didn't play much after 41 anyway. Now, Reese, is known a lot for being the double play partner and good friend, supporter of Jackie Robinson, and they were quite a double play duo. But Reese was pretty darn good on his own. He actually got MVP votes 12 straight seasons. He was the leading defensive WAR guy 4 years in a row, which is the reason Jackie didn't end up at short. But ended up at first that first year, and then at second base for the bulk of his career. Now, of those MVP votes, most of those he was actually in the top 10. He led the league in steals one year. He had a little pop in his bat, a lot of years in double-figure home runs, 126 in his career. Real good eye at the plate. Even though he's like a 260-some hitter, he had a 366 on-base percentage in his career. And with that, he lost 3 years to World War II, where he's in the Navy, fighting for our country. He had over 2,000 hits still in his career and a 68.4, so that's a pretty good career WAR. So she is a shortstop. So Pee Wee Reese. Next on our list, got a second-year card and only Bowman card of Hank Aaron. Now, this card, I took a long time, and I got this just a few years ago, 2-3 years ago. And I remember taking a long time picking out which Aaron I wanted and really looking at things like centering, kind of the chipping, which happens easily on these 55 Bowmans. This one I thought didn't have a whole lot, and I really love the centering. It's actually not perfectly centered on the back because getting that ratio of the top to under that little TV, color TV bat thing they've got on the bottom doesn't center it perfect on the back, but to me that's the perfect centering for the front. Still not too bad on the back. And I know slab cards are definitely more forgiving on corners than unslab cards, but not so much on 55 Bowman, 71 Tops, those cards with the color. It still shows up a little bit more, and I think slab cards makes centering more important than corners and edges. But I thought for a 4-5, that was a really nice, probably undergraded card, so made it a good card for the value. But nice young 21-year-old there, Hank Aaron, coming into his own in 55 as he hit over 300, 27 homers, 106 RBIs, leading to quite a career. All right, next We are going back in time to a player who excelled in the 1890s, early 200s. This is his final season, 2010. T206 card of Wee Willie Keeler. He was famous for saying, hit them where they ain't. He bunted a lot, kind of slapped, hit things. Didn't hit a lot of home runs, but he just hit them where the fielders weren't. And he did that a lot. He had 8 straight years over 200 hits in an era where they only were playing like 130 games. His big year, 1897, he had 239 hits in only 129 games. It is quite a ratio. Of those 239 hits, 19 were triples, like 27 doubles, but did not hit a home run. He hit a league-leading 424 that season. And I think that might have been the only season anybody ever had an OPS over 1,000. His was 1,003 without hitting a home run. That is got to be tough to do. He also held the record for a long time for the longest hitting streak, 45 games. It was later broken by this guy in that season, 1941. Another nice play ball of Joe DiMaggio. But Keeler had 44. He finished the season 44 game hit streak in that 87 or 97 season, and then he had one more the beginning of the 98 season. So 45 was his hit streak. That's still a National League record. For a season, it was tied by this guy, Pete Rose, 44 in a season for the National League record. And then something that he was really tough to do was strike out. He still is the second highest rate ever for plate appearances to strikeouts, over 70 plate appearances per strikeout. And the only person with a better rate than that is Joe Sewell, another Hall of Famer. Keeler played most of his years with either the Baltimore Orioles, Brooklyn Superbas, or New York Highlanders, which is a precursor, of course, to the Yankees. This card, he is with the Yankees yet, because it says New York American League, or Highlanders, I should say. But in 2010, the year of this card, he actually played his final season with the New York Giants. So Wee Willie Keeler, almost 3,000 career hits. When he retired, he was third all time. And he has, 54 career WAR. Okay, moving on. 1952 Topps, Gil Hodges. This is, I think, a cool image of a guy who just recently got into the Hall of Fame, joining teammates, of course, Jackie Robinson and Pee Wee Reese, who we've talked about already today, but also Duke Snider and Roy Campanella. So 5 hitters in that lineup that became Hall of Famers. Hodges was kind of the middle of the order, first base slugger. He was a perennial 100 RBI guy. You can see on the back of this 52 card, in that 51 season was a 40 homer, 103 RBI guy. Just kind of a typical year for Gil. His career, he had 370 home runs. Now, I think of him a little bit kind of like Joe Torre, that he's in the Hall of Fame as both a really good player and good manager. He's actually in as a player. Torre was in as a manager, but I think in their careers, they kind of had that double, that they were like a good contributor for both. He managed some really bad Washington Senators teams in the early 60s, and then in 68 went to the Mets, who were really bad, even worse than the Senators at the time he took over. But they ended up not as bad in 68, still, way under 500. But then the following year, 69, shows some of their star pitchers that carried him to a National League pennant and a World Series title, 100-game win season in the regular season. Some really good young pitchers that they had there, Kuzma, Seaver, Ryan. And there's Gil Hodges' 69 card. Unfortunately, 1972, he was still a manager, and he died of a heart attack just a couple of days before the season started. When he died, Jackie Robinson said he was the heart and soul of that Dodgers team, and just a really beloved both player and manager. All right, going to our next card, and this is one that even when I grew up in the late 70s, when I was trying to buy cards of some other superstars, this card, the 67 high number Brooks Robinson, was a tough card to get, and it was priced, I think it was like $56, $60 way back then, to even try to get it back in the late 70s. This one I graded pretty well, and I think it deserved it. It's this pretty much perfect corners. A little off, but not bad centering. You can see the back has got that real nice bright green color that you like to see on those 67s. 67 is one of my favorite sets just because the pictures are almost the entire card. Great smile of the best fielding third baseman of all time, the human vacuum cleaner. And show you a little bit what the packs look like in 67. So this is a first series pack. And then I've got another unidentified series pack from 67. I think they're one of the more colorful, kind of cool pictured packs. You can see the backs. So 1967, Brooks Robinson, and pan down here to look at one last look of all the cards we covered it today, except where did I put the Pee Wee? There he is, Pee Wee Reese. All right, thanks again for watching, and hope to see you next week.